They all grabbed their flashlights and started looking around and calling her name.
Don't be afraid. We mean you no harm.
And then she saw them. 2 glowing red eyes emerging from the dark.
You're gonna change things in your life, or you're gonna like blame the curse. For decades, the people of Point Pleasant have whispered about the red-eyed figure that haunts the night.
A winged shadow, towering and silent, watching from the treetops.
The Mothman, an omen of doom, a harbinger of disaster, a creature beyond human understanding.
Welcome to the Story Seekers, where we dive deep into myths, legends, and history.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Shanae. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and let's uncover the truth behind the Mothman. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm really kind of excited to get into this one today because I knew nothing about it. So I'm excited for you to hear the history.
I'm excited to hear the history. I purposefully didn't look into the history at all, even while writing the story. I just kind of got an idea of what the Mothman is and just kind of went from there.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing to do sometimes, definitely.
Yeah.
So shall we start off with pulling a card?
We definitely shall.
You go first. Go ahead.
I always go first. I think you should.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I've got the page.
Page of Swords in tarot signifies new beginnings, intellectual curiosity, and a thirst for knowledge, encouraging fresh perspectives and embracing new ideas.
Very fitting. I like that.
It is, isn't it? New beginnings. This is still a very new podcast, and also we do a lot of research, so we are quite curious about things.
And especially with this one, I think, I've really enjoyed looking at the historical side of it, because not that it didn't interest me, but I've seen some like documentaries around the Mothman, and it's not something that's like resonated with me. Do you know what I mean? Like with
it's
things
very
like the 𝑠𝑒𝑙𝑒𝑘𝑠 or the Banshee, it's kind of a little bit more at home. This is in a completely different country, obviously in the USA, and it's just like it's so random. Like it feels almost like more modern. But looking into the historical side, I really, really enjoyed it.
Okay, I agree. It does feel more modern, like a modern cryptid.
Yeah.
Something I haven't really come across often.
Yeah.
I did, the reason I brought it up, so I sent Laura a message and I just said, hear me out, Mothman, ... or Mothman or Mothman or whatever. And I don't even know where I found it. I just sometimes I'll listen to cryptid videos on YouTube, and then I just found it and remembered it randomly.
No, it's well worth a visit, definitely.
Shall we get into a story?
Sounds good.
Okay. Lana, have you ever heard of the Mothman? We were all sitting around the campfire on the little stools we'd brought with us. We just finished roasting hot dogs for dinner, and Charlie was cracking open his second beer. Yeah, I've heard people mention it before, Lana replied. Well, did you hear about the group of teenagers that went missing a few years ago? Oh, seriously, Charlie, that is a bullshit story, Sophie rolled her eyes. Come on, Sophie. Dad told us he's heard weird noises while camping up here. That's just something he said to keep us from wandering into the woods alone. Anyway, Lana, as I was saying, a while back, a group of friends went camping somewhere in the area. Apparently, they were all having fun, sitting around the fire, drinking, listening to music. Charlie had dragged me and Lana out here for a weekend camping trip. We used to come out here when we were younger with Mom and Dad, so we knew the area well, but this was our first trip alone. Charlie, my brother, Michael, Lana and I were all seniors that year. Lana had been my best friend since preschool, and though she never admitted it, she had always been in love with my brother. The way she stared at him, completely enthralled by his shitty campfire story, said it all. The friends had noticed that one of the girls went into the woods to pee, never came back, and all the girls were now freaking out. So, they all grabbed their flashlights and started looking around and calling her name. Once the music was off, they realized how dead silent everything had become. No wind, no insects, nothing. Lana inched closer to me and grabbed my hand. Something rustled in the trees, in the tree line just behind us, just beyond the clearing. I glanced towards it, but the others didn't seem to notice. Maybe Charlie's story was getting to me after all. One by one, the friends disappeared, without a sound, until only one girl was left at the campfire. She sat there, frozen, too scared to move, and then she saw them, two glowing red eyes emerging from the dark. A shadowy figure with enormous tattered wings. The Mothman! A piercing scream shattered the night as something came crashing through the trees towards us. Wings outstretched. Lana and I screamed and clung to each other, while Charlie and Michael burst into laughter. The Mothman was Michael, charging towards us with a branch in each hand, flapping them wildly. "You're such assholes!" I shouted, but they were too busy howling with laughter. Charlie tossed a cold beer over to Michael. He caught it and came to join us, still laughing manically. Lana was still holding my hand and was still freaked out, but she tried not to show as much, probably because she didn't want Charlie to see. The boys kept laughing and joking about our terrified faces when she tapped me on the shoulder. "I really need to go pee," she whispered. I grabbed the flashlight and started towards the tree line, Lana close behind. As we disappeared into the woods, Michael called out, "Watch out for the Mothman!" "If I hear anything, I know it'll be you being a little perv," I shot back. The laughter faded as we walked deeper into the trees. We wouldn't go far, just enough to be out of sight. I knew the area, but I wasn't dumb enough to think that we wouldn't get lost. Charlie's story was fake, but people had gone missing out here before, and some claimed to have seen things. I kept talking to keep Lana at ease, rambling about all the things that we're going to do next year in college. She stuck so close behind me that she nearly tripped me a few times. Finally, we found a good tree, and while she did her thing, I turned back and kept talking. I could still hear the boys laughing in the distance, so we weren't too far. Lana zipped up her jeans and walked up to me. We had barely taken 2 steps when we both froze. The world had gone silent. I couldn't hear the boys anymore. No insects, no wind. The silence was thick, suffocating. A twig snapped to our right, then another cracked echo to the left. And as if on instinct, both of us slowly started to look up into the trees. And there, perched high in the trees, were two enormous, glowing red eyes. Its enormous wings, veined and ragged, stretched out, spanning nearly the width of the trees. The way it moved was unnatural, floating more than falling as it descended towards us. It barely made a sound. The moment it touched the ground, we both took off running as fast as we could. I didn't care to look back. We could feel it behind us closing in, its presence pressing against our backs, like a shadow with weight. Any second I expected its clawed hands to seize my shoulders and pull me into the dark. As we broke into the clearing, the boys both looked up at us in shock, no longer laughing. The world's sound had returned, and the air felt lighter again. We hurried over to them, and through our tears, we were trying to explain what happened. Michael tried to calm us down when I finally got out, "Mothman! It was the Mothman!" Charlie calmed down then, and with a smirk said, "You guys are just freaked out. It's okay. The Mothman doesn't exist." Suddenly, the air grew thick again. The night went silent. We all turned towards the tree line where we'd just come from. A figure stepped out of the dark, nearly 6 feet tall, its ragged wings dragged along the ground, its long spindly limbs barely human. Its eyes glowed like embers, boring into us. The moment stretched endlessly, our breath froze in our throats. Next it opened its beak, and out of it came an ear-piercing screech. When it took one slow step closer, I felt my arm being tugged. It was Charlie. He'd grabbed his keys and was now dragging me with him towards the truck. Once I understood what was happening, we all set off running as fast as we could. We piled into the truck, doors slamming, hands shaking as we locked them. "Guys, where's Michael?" Lana's voice was barely a whisper. They never did find Michael. The police said that there was no trace of him and that we all must have simply imagined it all. That Michael had probably wandered off and fallen into one of the many hidden crevices in the area. Years later, Charlie and Lana got married and we're all still close. But we never talk about what we saw that night, and we've never been back either. There have been more sightings over the years, but now people report seeing 2 sets of red eyes.
Whoa. I liked it a lot. It's got a very American.
It's very, very American.
It's really good.
I have a little I have a little confession.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get into the history of it, while I was writing this, I'd sent you the message that said Mothman. And while I was researching a little bit, for some reason, I thought we were researching the Owl Man. I don't know how it happened, but Owl Man was what kind of just took up. So I basically wrote a story about an owl man.
No, I like it. It fits with the history a lot.
And then, but this is the interesting part. You'd send me another message saying Mothman, and then I went, huh, why would she say Mothman? I've been, writing a story about the Owl Man. So I'm like, oh no. So I go on Google and I go, Mothman versus Owl Man, which sounds like a movie, a new Marvel movie. And apparently, so the Owl Man that apparently I was researching is from the UK. It's from England.
Oh, cool.
And Mothman that you researched is from America. But they basically look exactly the same, except for the similarities to like the specific animals.
Yeah.
They both have red glowing eyes. So I technically had the right one in mind.
Yeah.
I just used the wrong name. But I found that really interesting that
these
two different
that.
cryptids that I just accidentally confused. I think I was researching Mothman and then I got an article about the Owl Man and just kind of my brain just went with that.
Yeah.
But interesting that they are basically, but they're basically the same.
Yeah.
Except the I'm really getting confused. The Owl Man, being in the UK, he is seen circling churches.
Right.
Like flying around church roofs. But I didn't really look into it.
Okay.
But yeah, I was worried at first, and then I went, oh no, it's okay. They basically look the same.
Yeah. That's really interesting though. I'll have to look up the Owl Man after this and see what like the historical side of it is. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was
I really liked the story. No, it's a happy accident. It's fine.
Happy accident. Oh, just a happy accident.
So I'll get into the history of things.
Tell us about the Mothman.
Okay, so for decades, the people of Point Pleasant have whispered about the red-eyed figure that haunts the night. A winged shadow, towering and silent, watching from treetops. The Mothman. One of America's omens, a harbinger of doom or disaster. It's a cryptid I've got little information about, so we're going to start in the place where it all began. Point Pleasant, a small, peaceful river town with a complicated past.
Is it a real place?
It is.
It sounds like a place in a book.
Yeah, it does. Like a completely fictional place. Yeah, but no, it is. It's a small river town. When you look at the pictures of it, I don't know. I was looking at pictures from the past, so there's probably a lot more going on there now. But it was initially, it's a place in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
It's got a very complicated past. And one of the events was a battle in 1774 between the Virginia militiamen and Native American tribes. And this was over the control of the West Virginia and Ohio. So as you can imagine, like during that time in history, you've got American settlers coming to America, and all of this aggro is basically unfolding with the Native American people trying to take their land from them and settle there, and it's a really like bloody and violent past. So these American settlers wanted to take over this certain area of West Virginia and Ohio. I don't know whether it was the entire what is now the state or it was like certain areas, but all of this battle basically the majority of it fell in what is now Point Pleasant. It was a bloody battle, and it involved hand-to-hand combat in unforgiving landscapes like what you mentioned in your story, like really wooded, secluded places in the mountains, deep ravines, really kind of, like unwelcoming places that you wouldn't want to really be in.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the Shawnee tribe were defeated, the Native American tribe, and forced to sign a treaty, which meant that they had to live alongside the settlers peacefully. Cornstalk was a Shawnee chief, and he tried to make peace between the tribes people and the Native American settlers. so they could live alongside each other as peacefully as possible. And this was really unheard of back then. You're going to basically fight to the death.
Yeah, you're going to kill out all of the locals so that you can take their land and move in.
Yeah.
Which we do not agree with. And
a little bit about him is he was really renowned for his presence. So he was a really skilled fighter, and he also was just really respected by those around him, including a lot of the American settlers. So he had a really, really good reputation of being like not a completely innocent person, obviously, but he was like very firm but fair, is what a lot of people said about him. So despite the treaty being signed and the peace and living peacefully for a short amount of time, he was taken hostage along with his son and executed in front of a group of American settlers. Legends say before he died, he cursed the town, leading to some connection with the Mothman sightings that happened later and other strange occurrences in Point Pleasant. So I've written a question here. So do you believe in curses?
I do.
Yeah.
I do definitely believe in curses. I think I think that I believe in bad juju.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like curses are that. They're bad juju, and you can pass that on to someone or something.
Definitely.
So yes. Do you?
Yeah, I feel the same. I think even if there's no like magic or like supernatural happening there, if I was cursed, I would always have that in the back of my mind, and I believe you're going to change things in your life, or you're going to like blame the curse for that. So ultimately you cursed yourself. Like
100%. It's all about energy, I think.
Yeah,
bad
definitely.
energy.
Bad energy.
Good energy, yeah.
Yeah. So believe what you will, this early story and bloody past of establishing a town led to mass hysteria and belief in something linked to disaster and bad omens. One of the disasters was the Silver Bridge collapse in 1967, which saw 46 people killed and many other people plunging to their death in icy water. Basically, I've not gone into it in too much detail, but basically a huge bridge collapsed with people in cars and people on foot in Point Pleasant. So reportings of sightings of the Mothman apparently stopped after this, and many locals believed that the Mothman was warning the locals of the disaster. Before all this, during the 60s, and still on odd occasions to this day around the world, people have claimed to have seen this cryptid. Most descriptions and accounts are similar, 7 to 10 feet tall, large bat-like wings, glowing red eyes, has the ability to fly and emits a high-pitched screech, similar to that of the banshee, which is said also to be a harbinger of death and disaster. The first sighting was recorded in 1966. A couple were chased to their car by this creature, reporting it to local police. More sightings followed. There are many ideologies of what it could be. Supernatural, brought around from the cornstalk curse, or an interdimensional creature, like a lot of other cryptids. Skeptics have claimed that this Skeptics have claimed it's a misidentified animal, in particular, in this area of the world, a sandhill crane.
What is that?
It's basically a crane, like a really tall, leggy bird. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not big. It's average size.
Not 6 feet.
No. Finally, some people believe this creature was born from mass hysteria, fueled by panic and devastation. Whatever you believe, you can't deny that this is one of the more creepy cryptids, unlike anything else I've heard of before. Nowadays, we continue to see the Mothman creeping into the media, from books to movies and even video games like Fallout.
Wait, what?
Apparently he's a character in an early Fallout game.
Huh. I played Fallout.
I thought, maybe you'll know about this one.
Oh, because, there's definitely a lot of, and because of radiation, a lot of the animals become bigger
Okay.
in the game, in the Fallout world. I might ask Peter because he's played the earlier ones. I only played Fallout 4.
Yeah, definitely.
Huh, interesting.
Even creeped into video games as well. And I thought it was quite cool because we've just obviously watched the Fallout series and then the games and stuff as well. But I could see why that kind of that would really go with that kind of aesthetic.
100%,
definitely.
100%.
For me, the sightings contradict each other. So I was a bit skeptical with this one. Some saying the Mothman is reclusive, hiding away from people. Others report a high-speed chase and being taunted and frightened by this creature. So for me, the behaviors are so different. But then again, if this creature is otherworldly, how could we know how it would behave, or how would it know how to behave? I'll leave you with a quote from the Mothman Prophecies by John Keel. "Don't be afraid, we mean you no harm."
Ooh, very
and that was the character of the Mothman in the book. So yeah, I'm definitely more skeptical, but I think for me, the historical side of it was the more interesting. So the curse and people feeling they see things when it's a particularly bad time, and having such a traumatic past, and this, the Shawnee chief's character, people reported him being such a good man, and then for him to be executed with his son in such awful circumstances, for me was that's going to make you tell stories and feel differently about this place.
I agree. That to me is more the truth behind the story, I guess, is more interesting than the story itself, or the myth itself.
Definitely.
I agree. I'm quite skeptical about this one.
It for me, it kind of falls into things like Bigfoot.
See, I was just about to say the same thing, but I wouldn't say I believe in Bigfoot, but I have an easier time believing in Bigfoot,
really,
than I do believing in the Mothman. Same with the Owl Man.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why. It just seems more, and I don't know what you said it really well. It feels more modern.
It does. And I don't know why, because obviously it's based on an animal. So maybe it's because I only heard about it recently, or it seems more current. All of the stuff, all of the sightings the majority of them were in a really short time frame in the 60s in America. Obviously people still see it now, but that's when there are actual reportings of people being chased and police being called because the same person has seen the same thing.
Right.
Or
that just sounds like a bit of mass hysteria to me. I think I lean towards more about that.
Yeah.
But also, if you've ever heard of the Mothman, please let us know, because
definitely.
if you've ever seen one or have known someone to see one.
Yeah. And it's interesting now, I'd love to speak with somebody from Point Pleasant, because what I read is a lot of places that have a cryptid or something, it's such a specific area. It's so small compared to obviously the rest of the states. They've really monetized that,
made it their own.
Which you would do, but it's interesting that it's come from a place of grief, and now people are kind of running with it because it's bringing people there.
I always wonder if the history of it, where they think it came from, a tragedy like that, if as many people, right, let me rephrase this. I always wonder that if people run with the story and they kind of make it their whole identity, how much of the history do they know? How much has been forgotten? And then just How many people are just like, oh, well, this is just a cryptid that we know, but not a lot of them know the actual history.
The history side of it, yeah.
Maybe they do tours. Maybe one day we'll go and visit Point Pleasant.
Yeah, definitely.
Go do a tour. Have them tell us themselves.
Speak to some of the older people there. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd love to do that. But yeah, if anybody has any stories regarding the Mothman, I would love to hear them.
If you'd been at Point Pleasant during the Mothman sightings, do you think you would have believed the stories, or would you have been skeptical?
During the sightings?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's nice. All kids would enjoy this kind of story, definitely. But I think, yeah, if it's come from a place of like grief, and if people have been involved in like the Silver Bridge collapse, I think it's for me, I don't think I would. I just think it's such a strange thing to cling on to, even if you're experiencing grief. But obviously grief affects people in different ways. Like if people said years later, I've seen ghosts of people who died in this, that would be more believable for me.
Yes. What do you think it would feel like to see a Mothman in person? I think,
like as I mentioned, I think for me this is one of the more creepy things because it's so otherworldly. It's almost like a UFO or something.
Yeah, this feels very extraterrestrial.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's a moth.
Yeah.
But maybe
eyes,
it's because it can fly.
Definitely.
It feels a lot more otherworldly because it can fly.
Yeah.
Especially something that can fly that's that size.
Definitely. If I saw like a different cryptid, like, I don't know, like even like a banshee or something like that, like something more supernatural, I would feel a lot better than seeing this.
Yes.
Because, like, for me, this would be, it's definitely
I'd rather wake up and have a ghost at the edge of my bed. Yeah. Most likely.
Definitely.
Well, let's say you did believe in the Mothman. Let's say we were Mothman believers. Do you think that it's a warning of disaster, or do you think it's a threat, like it's dangerous and it could attack you?
I think for me it would be more of a threat, I think. Because it's just so different. If it was something real, I wouldn't I would automatically go into like flight mode.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
This is something that wants to hurt me. Just kind of harsh, but like just by the way it looked, I would think it was something threatening. I wouldn't think this thing is trying to help me. I would have like no compassion towards it, which is really harsh, but I wouldn't think it would be doing me good in any way.
It's
either trying to kill me or
it's not warning me, it's coming for me. Yeah, I agree. And I agree it's because of how it looks. It's very intimidating.
Yeah.
Creepy, eerie.
Yeah.
Why do you think cryptid legends like the Mothman endure for so long? Endure for so long. Do we just love mysteries, or is it something deeper?
I think it's a combination of things. I think, especially in a small town where something definitely originates from, somewhere like this that's like had a complicated past, I think like word of mouth, we've spoken about this before, but like word of mouth just goes so far. Like it's so nice to tell stories whether you believe them or not. Like your story, people sat around a campfire. It's like word of mouth and storytelling is just like a timeless thing. And I think talking about things we have no understanding of is great. You know, there's only so many times you can go online and do what we've done and research things and be skeptical, but then somebody else is going to tell you they saw it.
Yes.
It's going to make you think differently, no matter how sort of like rigid your ideas are. I think storytelling is so mysterious, and it's just going to be timeless. That's why it will, just.
I agree. Long. I think for generation, like especially if you live in like you said, a small town, and people, let's say, 40 years ago experienced this cryptid or this mystical thing, that it will definitely become a myth and a legend, and it will become a campfire story.
Yeah, definitely.
Like it will be this scary story your parents tell you.
Yeah.
But I do love a good scary story.
I do. Very guilty. Yeah.
Well, that is it for this episode of the Story Seekers. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the eerie legend of the Mothman. And let us know, do you think the Mothman is just a cryptid? Or is there something more supernatural or even prophetic behind these sightings? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Bye!
Bye!